I am ready as spaghetti.
You're live, baby.
I'm live.
Oh, yeah.
Let me suck on my cigar.
Oh, my God.
No.
Hatui? Hatui?
Yeah, Tui. So, yeah, I heard about there's a girl, a little young girl. They talk to her and a guy exposes himself or something, I guess. And she looks down. She goes, Tui. She spits on it. She got in trouble. She was a teacher and they fired her or something. I don't understand. It's a joke. It's meaningless. But I guess we're living in a completely strange world. Hey guys, a couple of things I want to start off with before I get to the questions. Number one, this thing over my head, we hit the 600,000 mark. That's my girls. And I want to thank you guys for hitting the subscribe button and doing such a great job. And we're at a good number. That's one. Number two, I saw something on Instagram, and the Instagram said that I said that Neil Delacroce was afraid of John Gotti. I don't ever recall saying that. It's ridiculous. If I said it, I might have been drunk. He wasn't afraid of anybody, Neil Delacroce. And here's a guy who was afraid of John. When John went and asked permission to whack Paul, he told him, no, fuck no. Does that sound like a guy who's afraid? So he was a tough guy all his life till his last dying day. Lived by the rules, and I don't think he feared anybody. I really don't. So if you ever see that said about something I said about, it's bullshit. And now I'll get started. There's a few other things that I heard. You know, I have these people, they're professors. They're professors, they're news people, they say, they're this, they're that. They do research. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about, especially when they're talking about me or things I lived through or certain things. But I guess that, you know, I actually get a kick out of it sometimes. Sometimes I'm mad. Sometimes I get a kick out of how fucking dumb they are. They will do anything for a view, a subscriber, and they'll say anything. And I constantly hear them say my name, hoping I'll say their name. Because one time I did say their name and their numbers blew up a little bit. Yeah. So they love, that's the way to get numbers. Yeah. But I have, you know, I'm gonna talk about a little, should I talk about that now?
Sure.
Yeah, well, it was about a guy, Bosco, who they have this story saying that I testified against him, I put him away, and I did this and I did that. Here's the story real quick. I don't want to spend too much time on it. He was Yugoslavian or something like that. And he left the country and he was in the war in Bosnia. He was working, he was Milosevic's right-hand man. He was a bomb expert. He killed people left and right for Milosevic. Milosevic was indicted in the World Court, if I remember this right. And Bosco was over there fighting in the war. Mm-hmm. Real tough guy. I told a few stories about him. When Jimmy Coons was gone, he took over the Irish mob in New York, the Westies. Now, and the guy's talking that's not true. He took over the Westies. That's guaranteed. And he had a friendship with us, me and John and the Gambino family. And he worked in the unions. He had a lot of connections. He was a pimp. He was all kinds of things. And a dangerous, dangerous guy. So he took over the Westies. And they accepted that. And there's a lot of stories. Like I said, I'm not going to get into all the stories. But he left the country, never got caught. And he was fighting in Yugoslavia, Bosnia, all over the place over there during the war. And for some reason, he came back into the United States. I was already out of prison with my first case. My second case in Arizona, I was in prison. They caught him, And they came to me. And they told me, Sammy, we have Bosco. We'll help you with your case if you flip, we want to flip him to testify against Milosevic in the world court. Big deal, big stuff. My answer was no. I refused. They held him for 5 months in prison. I still said no. And without me, they couldn't convict him. They had to let him go. And he left and went there again. This guy who's doing the story is saying, I put him away and I testified against him. I told this story to the government, but when they came for me to testify, I wouldn't testify. I didn't put him away. That's bullshit. I love these guys. They're big researchers and they know what the fuck they're talking. They don't know nothing. They really don't know nothing. So let me finish with this story. So he went back after the 5 months. I was in prison. There was a guy who was a journalist, a reporter, and he went on a mission. I think it was Esquire magazine. He worked for them, and he went to Bosnia, and he not bunked into, but he went looking for Bosco, and he met Bosco, and he stayed with him. He lived with him, stayed with him, and he was talking about his story and what was going on in Serbia in the war and Milosevic and all this bullshit. And Bosco told him, he says, I love Sammy. He's a journalist. And he says, I was in jail when I went back and they wanted him to testify against me. He refused. And without him, they didn't have a trial. This guy was saying that my testimony was horrible and he got acquitted. I never testified against the guy, never. But he was released and he's talking to this journalist and he told him the whole story and the whole truth. Part of the story, a good part of the story is in Esquire magazine. I forgot what year. We have this thing, you can show it. Hey, give it to me, let me show it. Here he is, right here. Bosco. And here is the magazine.
No, your friend is on there, the cover.
Huh?
Your friend is on the cover of that
Yeah,
one.
I know. This other imbecile. But here's Esquire magazine. Here's the thing. And let me give you the date. What's the date of this thing? I don't know. I'll have the girls look at the date and yell it out. I don't see the date on it.
Go ahead. Sterling's going to come up there and grab that date for you.
Is the date on there when it came out?
December 1997.
All right, you could put that over there. December.
Thank you, Sterling.
Thank you. December of 1997, Esquire magazine. If you want to buy it, you want to get it. It came out, and there's the story. Now, I don't know if I'm in the story, but Bosco talks to him and tells him the whole story. When he got back out of Bosnia, the reporter, I believe his name was Daniel.
Daniel Vole, that's right.
Daniel what?
Vole?
Vole, yes. He was in Hollywood. He called me up, and he talked to me about, his experience with Bosco and how Bosco felt and this, that, and the other thing. Now, I'll get to the story with Bosco. Bosco, he says I took credit. I didn't take credit for nothing. Bosco had a juror, the lead juror. It was a man, his name was Pape or something like that. His wife was a major in the United States military, and he was broke. And Bosco was his friend for a lot of years. And it was a John Gotti case. And I told this story. I went and I had a meeting with this Pape. And I made a deal with him for $60,000 to vote not guilty and try to convince the jurors, and I would give them information. I'd give him $20,000 at that meeting. I would give him $20,000 in the middle of the trial, and I would give him $20,000 at the end of the trial. And then I had power with the Teamsters. I would make him a Teamster foreman that made between $65,000 and $75,000 a year back then. So I would set his life up. And I also told him, Bosco, you have to give your word that you will find him not guilty. They may put pressure on you if there's a lot of people who want to find him guilty, but you got to stand up. Don't worry about it, Sammy. I'm not worried about it, but I'm going to tell you this. If he's found guilty, that means you were one of the people who said guilty. I will kill you. And you can go to the feds and tell them, I don't give a fuck. I'll go to jail. But I will guarantee you that somebody else will come down after I'm gone and they will kill you. I'll guarantee you that. All right. And he did. He rigged the fucking jury. John was found not guilty. So I'm not taking credit for nothing. I told this story before, more than once, and I'm saying it again. And then this scumbag of a human being who wants to be, I do research, I'm a reporter, he calls himself a reporter now. I don't want to say his name because I know I'm building him up. That's exactly what he wants me to do. So I'm not going to do it. But let me make another fucking wild statement that I shouldn't make. Motherfucker, you don't get off my back. I will see you someday. I will. I'm not saying I'm going to kill you or anything like that, but I'm going to teach you how to be a fucking man, bitch. How to act like a fucking man. You want to keep playing with me. Keep it up. I will not forget you. We'll have a good talk about this eventually. Get off my fucking back. Be a fucking legitimate guy and do legitimate stories without fucking lying. And that's fair. I don't care. I'm sure Michael Franchise don't care, but you motherfuckers don't want to stop. You think this is a game. People like Bosco are not toys for you. Bosco's dead now. But in his memory, I had a lot of respect for this guy. He had balls like a fucking elephant. He wasn't Irish, but he did take over the Irish mob. And he was respected by them. And they were with the Gambino family. Keep your fucking facts straight. So, let me get away from him now. Because I'm happy about you guys. I love you guys and the 600,000. I love that. And we had a lot of laughs today. Sterling came in with this 600,000 balloons or whatever it is. She's giving me a thumbs down.
Sammy's sending 600,000 kisses across the airwaves now.
600,000 kisses across the airwaves, and I'm loving every minute of it. And another thing before we get into the questions. I'm leaving next week to go this week.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Well, I'm leaving this week, right, to go to Hollywood. And we're getting closer and closer to those movies and pictures and stuff like that. And I was talking to a couple of the heavies, and they're loving the fact about you guys. Pressing the like button, pressing the subscribe button, and they commented to me about it. They're loving the fact that you want a movie, you want these movies. You're getting them excited. I'm getting excited too. I love it. I love what you're doing. But they're being turned on by it. So, and so I appreciate that. I'm going to have some fun down there. I'm going to meet with some of them. One of the producers is a good friend of mine. He'll be in this thing. He's not a super heavyweight, but he's a heavyweight, and he's going to introduce me to some of his friends, producers, directors, writers, and stuff like that. I went with him quite a while ago, and he did this once before. We went to a cigar bar and met all of them and stuff. I'm thinking of doing some independent movies on my own, aside from with these heavyweights, and he's going to help me with that. And some of the guys I'm going to be meeting are going to open some doors. I know I'm getting a lot of information. Now, aside from a scripted show that I'm going to be doing, and more than likely a movie of Johnny Keys, I'm doing another thing where it's going to be small shows on television. Each story will be a different, thing. Is 4, 5, 6, 8 episodes, maybe a couple of seasons, and then it's off, and then there's another one. I'm thinking today, whoever you are, scumbag, you just remind me of this story, and I think I'm going to bring that up to the people and maybe do a picture in a movie about Bosco.
Thanks. Thank you, scumbag.
Yeah. So thank you for that. You reminded me. I went to the magazine. I looked at it. It's been laying in my office for years. So I will maybe do a movie like that with Bosco and the war and everything and how he, and he went back. He had bad feet. He complained.
Right.
He complained to the writer all the time. He had terrible feet, and he was in pain all the time. And I told a story about him that he pulled up to John Gotti's club and with a limousine. He had a couple of hookers, beautiful girls, snorting coke in the car. And I looked in and I told him, Bosco, are you fucking crazy, bro? John can't come out of the club and get in the car, snort coke and fuck around with these girls. Are you crazy? But the guy, the writer, Daniel, told me that he did the same thing in wherever he was. Mm-hmm. A pimp, bomb expert, real tough, super, super tough, and he had these bad feet that he was always in pain.
Yep.
But, and that they had a party or something, and they watched Getting Gotti or something like that, the show, and,
Yep.
and he was bragging about it because he was the guy who set up the juror with me, and he was telling all these Yugoslavians or whatever they are about it, and they watched the whole thing, I would imagine. But, and it wasn't this recent one, I don't think, but it was one of them stories.
Yeah.
So I'll be misquoted again.
Extraordinary story, Sammy. This Bosco guy and the World Tribunal and the genocide and all that.
The World Trade.
Your life is extraordinary.
Extraordinary story,
Oh my God.
and how many people lost their lives. And the craziest thing I found about him is that he loved America.
Oh man.
He was almost a patriot of America. But the only thing he said, he loved his country, he loved the people. He did. But he hated the governments. He said these fucking governments do all kinds of things, wars to make money. They don't care how many people die. He says to me one day, they'll call me a killer. They'll call you a killer, Sammy. But they kill hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people. And they do it for greed. Not because they're mad, not because there's a problem. They do it for greed and power. He says, and that's what I love about America. It's a democracy. He has no idea, he's dead a while, what it is now. It's a mess. But I think making a movie about him, I think that's one of the things I'm going to try and pitch. I think I could sell that.
Oh,
I have so
easily.
much information about it. So Hippo Face, thanks for reminding me of this whole fucking story. But
Success
get your
is-
fucking facts right, you scurvy scumbag bastard. And I'm telling you, I will come and visit you. I know you want to talk to me. I will come down. I will bring a bottle of wine, some cake, some cannolis, and I'm gonna come right in your fucking house with your wife and your kids and me. Keep it up. All right, let's go to questions before I blow my fucking top here.
Success is the best revenge, Sammy.
Yes.
Success is the best revenge. Go ahead, Amina. Hey, girl.
Hey guys.
Project your voice, baby.
Sammy's gonna be like, I can't hear you. Please say
Yeah.
something.
Sing
Right.
out, Louise.
All right. Okay. So let's start out with some shout outs. We have a couple of birthday wishes. Dan Feliciano has a birthday. Give him a happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Dan.
And then we have a happy birthday to Emily and her daughter Freya. They're turning in from Australia.
Oh, happy birthday, girls.
Want to give a shout out quickly to, I think it's Psilocybin, Keep It Frosty, 48 Grizzly, Shooter 88, who's in Texas, and Tammy Ferris and her husband Rich, who are tuning in as well. And they wanted to give you a shout out.
Thank you. Thank you for the shout outs.
So let's jump into questions. I have David Timko says, I hope this email finds the right place. I just want to give a shout out to Amina. I have submitted questions in the super chat before, and she asked Sammy my question. It meant so much to feel like I talked to a rock star. I'm in the process of saving up for a sit down, but I had to tell her how much I appreciate her. Love from Pittsburgh. Thank you, David. But it doesn't stop there. He says, by the way, Anna, I have my master's in psychology and work in mental health, and Sterling is awesome too. Sammy, he says he loves your book.
Thank you for loving my book, and thank you for loving my women. I love them too.
Thank you, David. We're all doing the angel pose. All right, and then we have Joey Ham, 3R Sticks. Hello, Sammy from Dayton, Ohio. Can you give us your thoughts on John F. Kennedy and his brother Bobby? Also, your opinion on what you know to be fact with the mob's involvement.
I know a lot about the JFK thing. I think I told this story even on my Q&A one time when the FBI told me that there was some guys coming down from Washington, some heavyweights. I thought they were FBI guys. They said, Sammy, don't play. I said, all right. And they came in and they said, Sammy, we want to ask you what you know about the JFK hit. And I said, are you guys kidding? Thinking they were agents. I said, you guys did it. There was no mafioso on the grassy knoll. And they just stopped me dead. Sammy, scrub these notes. We weren't here. They left. I found out a little later, they weren't FBI guys, they were CIA guys. It was like I hit the nail on the head. But it wasn't that I was guessing. I know a lot. And the CIA, I heard John Kennedy and Bobby Kennedy's son, the guy who's running for president now. He said it today. I saw it. The CIA had direct involvement in his uncle's death, John F. Kennedy. I would love to talk to him because I do have knowledge. Him I would talk to. And I'm doing the history of the mafia. And when I get to that point, I think I'm going to blow the lid off the rails, because I know a lot about it. Now, there was a lot of people involved, a lot of people. The Vice President of the United States was involved. The CIA was involved. The mob was involved. Now, what makes me knowledgeable of that? I found out years later. When he was killed, just like everybody else, everybody was talking about it. I liked him as a president. He was around the Rat Pack, Hollywood, Sinatra, D. Martin, all of them. Marilyn Monroe, he was having an affair with Marilyn Monroe. There was so many things. And me and Tato would talk. And Tato talked to me, I thought, just chatter, talking about things that went on. I found out later that when they killed Anastasia, there was going to be a war. It was Carlo Gambino against Tommy Rava, who was a head captain under Anastasia. Tato was given the contract to kill Tommy Rava. And he did. Tommy Rava and another guy. And they disappeared. But Tato was the shooter and the killer. Made me realize that when we chatted, he wasn't just talking about hypothetical bullshit. He knew that Sam Giancana from Chicago, I forgot the guy's name, from Florida, and the other guy from Louisiana sent word for Carlo Gambino's blessings. Now, Carlo Gambino's right-hand man at that point was Tato. And Tato chatted with me about the whole thing. One of the things I questioned seriously when he said, we had to kill Marilyn Monroe. I was young. I loved Marilyn Monroe just like all the young guys, older guys, or whoever. And I was like, why would we kill her? And he explained to me in detail why and how. I'm not going to get into it again, but it will come out in the history of history of the mafia that I'm going to do, and I'm doing that more than likely with James Carroll again, and Nick Pileggi this time, who knows mafia stories and facts like nobody else. So when I do the history of the mafia, like I did my podcast, it's going to be outstanding. And I'm going to leave that in history. There'll be colleges and universities and people who make movies across this country and across other countries who want to talk about the history of the mafia. And they will look at my work and it'll be factual. Very factual. I hope to get started on that soon. I'm just doing a little too many things right this minute. I'm even fooling around with, I don't even know if I should talk about this, perfume and cologne. I've been talking to people for a while with this. I got a team together working on this. I'm trying to get it perfect. And I think I will. So between the perfume, the movies, and writing the history of the mafia, and I'm pretty bounced around. Like I said, this week now, I'll be in Hollywood talking this stuff and meeting with other people and doing independent movies that I'm allowed to do by myself. Certain things I won't be able to talk about because of contracts. But doing independent movies like this movie about Bosco, and there's many, many more. My friend Brian Glaze, black guy, one of the toughest guys you ever want to meet in your life. Changed his life around. I did an interview with him to help his podcast, and it did help his podcast. His numbers grew. He was very appreciative. He changed his life. And I wanted to help him. And me and him have been like this here, real close ever since. And he sent me a video just the other day, and I told him, I'm telling him now, That's another movie I may make with him. I'm going to have the power to pitch these things. Some of the heavyweights are asking me, Sammy, you were in jail with you? I say, I know Brian Glaze is a friend of mine for quite a while now. Changed his life. He's a good guy. Religious. Trying to keep kids out of prison, showing and talking about his life. And he doesn't do it in a selfish way or a braggish way. He just talks facts. Part of his friends and crew was Fat Cat Nichols, Pappy Mason. I did time with both of them. I wasn't friendly with Pappy Mason. He was like all fucked up, a little weird for me. But Fat Cat Nichols, I was like this with him in prison. I did a lot of years with him in prison. It looks like another movie. So I will talk to Brian Glaze and tell him, bro, if you allow me to do your movie and I'll make you make money. I would love to help him get on his feet, get ahead. So there's a lot of things I may do, but it's just taking a lot of time, and I just got so many different things that I'm doing at the same time. A lot of times I get so many messages I'm telling people, like a lot of people try to call me. I can't take calls. There's so many people, I have 600,000. I can't accept all these calls. I wish I could, but I can't. I can't answer them all. And some of you guys ask me for money. I know you think I'm famous and I'm rich. I may be getting famous, but I'm still not fucking rich. I give you my word, I'm not rich. But we'll get there. We'll get there. And another good lesson, you know, I changed my life. I'm going in the right direction, like a steam engine. But it's about work. It's about work. It's about being honest. It's about being loyal to the people around you. And I try my best to do that. I got a little bit of a temper yet. Got to be able to conquer that a little bit better. Sometimes I get a little shooken up.
Temper?
A little
No.
bit. Yeah.
What
What are you talking
temper?
about? No.
But, you know, so I wanted to tell, you know, the audience this here stuff and gotta give you some other questions.
Thank you. Gilbert Goobies Castro from last week said, ever go to Studio 54? And did you see some crazies?
No, I knew about Studio 54. I never went to Studio 54. It was a freak show. I never went there. I went down there one time, not to go into Studio 54. They had bouncers at the door. You had to be a stone freak. Even actors and actresses, if you didn't come dressed the right way and willing to play, they wouldn't allow you in. Now, a friend of mine, I'm not going to say his name, but he became a dentist. And he went there one time, and I think it was his girl or whoever he went with. And he wasn't allowed in the joint. And they got a little abusive with him. So I went down there to meet the bouncers. I told them who I was and who I wanted to talk to. And I told them about the guy. And I said, and he said to me, Sammy, this is a freak show over here. If you're not a freak, we're not allowed to let you in. How do you know the guy wasn't a freak? And then, when he was trying to explain something to you, that you got really nasty, bro. I don't think there's any reason for that. He says, tell him I apologize. And if you want me to let him in, I'll let him in. Give me his name and whatever. So I gave him his name. How do I know he's not freaky? I don't know. I gave him his name. But if he comes down here, he'll mention my name and do me a favor. Let him the fuck in. You know, explain to him what goes on in there. I mean, there was people, from what I understood, you were dancing on a dance floor, and there was tables, there was a couch. There was people fucking on the couch. There was gays and people, straight people, everybody mixed up, a weird shit. Almost like what What's his name? The black guy who's in trouble now.
P. Diddy.
P. Diddy. Almost kind of that kind of bullshit. You know, really wild, crazy shit. Girls laying on the floor, people snorting coke off their ass. I mean, it was weird stuff like that. That's what that club was noted for. So no, I never went there.
That's Reggiano territory. Wasn't Anthony up there all the time with Diana Ross and the Gastineaus and everybody?
Yeah, I guess so. But I never went there. You know, then there was Studio 54, and then there was a swingers club, very famous at that time, same time as this thing was going on. I forgot the name of it. But I never went there either.
Let's see if the chat knows.
All right.
Drop it in the chat. Okay, moving on. Next one, Mindy Negron. How come women weren't allowed in the mob?
I think they were a little too dangerous for us.
Tell them like it is.
You get a woman mad enough for, I mean, you know what I mean? A guy may think twice about pulling the trigger. These bitches will kill you in a second.
Okay, we have Roger Barker. Hey, Roger. How many people do you think Roy DeMeo killed?
I don't know. I hate to guess. I heard numbers that 200. I heard him say out of his own mouth to me. I had went to him and said, they're opening the books. They're going to make guys. Did you hear about it? You got some good guys around. He said, yeah. And they did a lot of work. He said, Sammy, my coffee boy, I forgot how many people the coffee boy killed, which shocked me a little bit. And he said, you know, we did over 200 hits. I said, what? Who the fuck gave you that kind of work? And it wasn't orders from a boss that was making him do it. He became a serial killer. He was killing people left and right. So I believe that over 200 people he killed for sure. In my mind, I couldn't verify that, but I wouldn't doubt it at all. He was a kill machine.
John Ball from last week said, was there a hit you were involved in that you felt was especially justified?
Of course. And a lot of times I felt it was justified because we go in with our eyes open, we take an oath, and there's rules. If you break some of these rules, you die. Now, I could have loved the guy or liked the guy or was sympathetic to the guy, but if I knew he broke the rules, and those were the rules are the rules, how do you control a mafia that has a lot of people in there are capable of killing? How do you control them without a strong rule that if you do this, you die? If you don't have those kind of rules, you're not going to control these guys. It's not just one guy or two guys who are tough guys. They're all tough guys, in a way. And they're 99% are capable of killing. What are you going to do? Slap him on the wrist if he breaks a rule? Then why wouldn't the next guy do it, or the next guy, or the next guy? Without certain restrictions, certain rules, and you have to follow through on your fucking rules, and you have to understand it. When you take the oath, again, I'm going to say the oath, but I'm going to explain some of it. This is above God, country, your family. Now, they don't want to take nothing. You could love God. I always loved God. I thought there was a God. I love my family. They're not above my family, but they're trying to show you how important it is, the oath. So when you take an oath like that, to put this above everything, so that goes above your friend who broke the rules. This comes first. not your friendship with him, not how much it breaks your heart, but it's got to be done. If you don't do it, then you can't control it. So, when I was around, I understood it. It broke my heart, if that's part of the question, that certain people had to go. I did try to save some of them a couple times. Sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't work. Most times it didn't. Because they're not just going to kill you. They'll put you on a shelf. There's a lot of things they can do. But when you broke certain rules, they killed you. Louis Melito, I grew up with him as a child. Hunting, fishing, loved the guy. I think we loved each other. I think people who knew us knew that. You heard the name Sammy, you heard Sammy and Louis. You heard Louis, you heard Louis and Sammy. That's how close we were. It did break my heart, but he broke rules. More than once. I thank God John Gotti gave me the privilege of saving him. Not once, but twice. The third time it came about when I went to John and he says, take a walk, Sammy. Go away. I don't want to hear it. I understood it. It's almost like baseball. 3 strikes, you're out. You're lucky to get 1 strike and get through it. Somebody talking for you, and maybe. But this, so it broke my heart. Like I said, I grew up with the guy all my life, hunting, fishing. He used to come to my farm. It was like that movie. I could go to Louis and say, Louis, we're going to hurt somebody tonight. I can't tell you who. I can't tell you why. You may never know why. Louis would turn around and look at me and he would tell me whose car we're going to use. Like that movie. He wouldn't give a fuck. That's the relationship we had. And that was vice versa. But, when you break rules, you can be killed for it. And most times you are.
Okay, the last question that I have, Cordez would like to know if Sammy was in New York and had ever crossed paths with Roberto, a.k.a. Bob Abui from Long Island.
Baba Booey? The only Baba Booey I came in contact with was with, who's the guy, the Jewish guy there?
Which, Howard Stern?
Howard Stern. Howard Stern's main guy, one of his main guys on his staff, his name was Baba Booey.
Yeah.
That's the only Baba Booey I knew. I didn't know him personally, but I heard the name. He used to have a black girl who was on the show. She would giggle and laugh all the time.
Robin.
She's
like, Howard, here's some money.
Yeah. She would laugh at anything.
Yeah, dude. She was crazy.
All right, that's all I have from last week. Want to give a quick shout out to Jason Hodges. He said he's sorry that he came on late, but he's here for you, Sammy.
Okay, great. Appreciate it.
Sammy, you got a super important question from That Fanook. Wants to know.
Who?
That Fanook.
Jack Fanook?
That Fanook.
Oh, that.
What's a Fanook?
A Fanook is a gay person. A Fanook.
Okay. Oh, okay. He wants to know, blondes or brunettes? Dun dun dun.
I mean, what day of the week? I do like blondes. I always liked blondes, but I married a brunette, so I like blondes, brunettes,
Yeah. Gerard has entered the building. Gerard!
Women with gray hair.
Come say hi, Gerard.
Hello.
My son just came in.
What is Gerard like?
Huh?
Women with gray hair.
Gerard.
He likes women with gray hair.
What about the gingers?
People are
You like
asking
the
no
red-
redheads?
Yeah, no redheads, guys?
What? Redheads? Oh, I love redheads too. Yes, I love. Listen, I love women. I do. If they're cool, I really I like women a lot. And I don't care what color hair they are. I don't care what color they are. I don't care what race they are. I don't care what nationality they are.
Yeah.
Women are cool, and so some women, you got to be a little afraid of.
Yeah, when you were talking about the temper, the chat blew up about Sicilian women and like Sicilians with the
Sicilian
temper.
women, you get 4 or 5 Sicilian women together at the same time.
Oy vey.
They could be tough. They really could be tough. But they're good women. They're good in their heart. Women are good. You know that old story, you can't live with them, you can't live without them. So I'm glad there was an Adam and I'm glad there was an Eve.
A few dishes thrown across the dining room once in a while. Can we give a shout out to Betty Ann? She gave a very generous envelope, and she's in the chat.
That's my girl. Betty Ann's my girl. She knows she's my girl.
Mark Clark wants to know, Sammy, can you tell us about Anthony Raimondi?
Anthony Raimondi? Now, is it Anthony Raimondi? Is he with the Cavalcanti family?
I don't know. Chat and Mark Clark, can you let us know in the chat if
I think it's
is that
Anthony
him?
Rampino.
He did like a Vlad TV interview, and he was wearing like the aviators with like this.
Oh.
Yeah.
I saw him in a video on YouTube, right, with Vlad. I didn't know him. I never heard of him. I saw him on that thing. He talked pretty good. He knew some of the, rules and.
Oh yeah, to kill the Pope.
Yeah,
Something like that.
Yeah. He killed the Pope?
No, like he was
Conspiracy.
conspiracy.
He was going to kill the Pope? I'm
It's so
I don't even know
fucking
what
crazy.
to say. I mean, why would you
Mamma
kill the Pope?
mia!
Maybe when the Pope was only a priest, he molested him.
It says Colombo gangster Anthony Raimondi claims he was present in 78 when fellow conspirators killed Pope John Paul I.
That Pope Paul I was killed?
Yeah, he claims he was present when that happened.
I didn't even know the Pope got killed. The mob killed him?
That's what he's
I
saying.
don't know about that. No,
We'll do our
don't know
research
him. I
over
don't
here.
know about that.
Yeah.
There's guys in this genre. I mean, there's a guy, you hear him talking all the time. I killed 40 people. I batted fucking 500 people. I don't know. I never. And then he'll say, "I'm trying to say this because I'm going to make kids better."
Yeah.
How you making kids better when you're talking like that? But I don't know. There's all kinds of crazy. I was talking about those crazies making statements about me, statements I made. I don't remember making those kind of statements. Neil was afraid of John Gotti. Fuck out of here. I don't think I made that statement. I would like the person, whoever said that, show me where the fuck I said that.
Yeah.
Maybe I was a little whacked out of my head one day and I said something like that. But the only reason I would say that Neil was afraid of John was afraid of shit that he wouldn't stop doing. Talking with his mouth. Not physically afraid of him, but afraid that he can fuck up everybody and everything. He might have been afraid of that. And it's not afraid like you would think he's shaking because he's worried about him. He's worried about, he's my guy, I made him, whatever. And he's destroying the fucking mob. But, so I don't remember ever making that statement.
Yeah.
Neil was a good guy, a super tough guy. I love the fact that he told all of us about killing Paul, no. That sounds like a guy who's afraid. You got a few hit teams, Frankie DeChico's hit team, my hit team, John's hit team. He said no. That don't sound like a guy who's afraid. but I respected him because he said his words. The boss is the boss is the boss. He also told John Gotti, you guys, meaning him and Angelo, broke all the fucking rules, and now you have the audacity to come and say you want to kill him. Why? What the fuck did he do? You broke the rules, and you want to ask me permission to kill him. My answer is fucking no. Frankie Chico came back to me. I loved when he said that. And we respected when he said that. We had no intentions of killing him because he was in the way or anything like that. We just kept holding back. We waited till Neil was dead because he was dying of cancer, and when we moved. But we wouldn't have moved, we wouldn't have killed him to move forward. I know I wouldn't. I know Frankie wouldn't have. And I don't think John would have either.
Okay, Mark Clark back in the super chat. Sammy, you and Cornfed actually played chess through the pipes, and that Anglo-Saxon woman owes you an apology for the small brain comment. What an insult.
The girl, say that part again. Me and Cornfed played through the pipe, yes.
And then the woman that came down, the WASP, the Anglo-Saxon, who said you had a small...
Yeah. So, yeah. But that was at another time.
Yeah.
But yes, we played through the pipe. I did an interview with the warden, and he knew that too. He knew me and Cornfed had a strong relationship. Cornfed and me were together in a witness shooting. Now, Cornfed didn't rat, but when you're in the ABs, especially on the level that he was on, he was ordered to do work. And I guess he had enough of the bullshit, and he said, no, you can't refuse. So he says, I'll do one further. I quit. You can't quit as an AB. They will kill you. So they moved him under protective custody, the government, the prison. They knew he would be killed. They moved him. So he wasn't really a cooperator, but he was in a cooperating witness, a unit. And that's where he did a lot of these tattoos, especially on my back. And I was close with him. I thought the world of him. I still do. One of the toughest bastards I ever met in my life. And he had 3 life sentences, I believe. In other words, he came in on a charge that he was facing 20 years. Killed somebody, got a life sentence. Killed somebody else, he got another life sentence. I think the 3rd time. And he had the fucking balls. He had an argument with a dirty white boy. I got involved in the argument a little bit. And then he threw the pipes. Sammy, want to take this motherfucker out? He was willing to do it again. I never thought I would get out. So I agreed. Let's do it. The guy went back, the dirty white boy, and told the prison officials about the beef, and they moved him, and they put a separation, which is that he could never be in a yard with me or Cornfed again. So I like Cornfed. I liked him a lot. He's a great artist. He helped me with my artwork.
Yeah.
He did some really, really great stuff. And he was a happy-go-lucky guy. The holidays would come, he would help decorate the prison. And it was a pleasure. He's a big guy, like a German or whatever it is. I think he's a German. Blonde hair, blue eyes, good-looking guy, built like a brick shit house. Not because he worked out or anything like that. That's why they called him Cornfed. It was like he was...
Like in Paul Bunyan.
Yeah, he was like Paul Bunyan, is
Like
right.
an ox, dude.
I mean, that's the way it was. I mean, and everybody respected him, liked him, and feared him.
His own pets had a murder rap.
Yeah. He had a couple of big pit bulls or something.
Cane Corsos.
King Corsos, those big horses.
Huge.
They are like horses, but they're dogs. And some guy, a friend of his, had them, was training them, And one day they caught a woman coming home in her apartment. These dogs attacked her and killed her. They blamed corn-fed again.
Yeah.
Really had nothing to do with that. Wasn't a hit. The dogs went in at her and killed her.
Yeah.
And they were blaming him and all this other bullshit. He really had nothing to do with that. But he didn't even care no more.
Yeah.
He's never going to get out. He knows it.
Yeah.
So,
We have a super chat here from Raghav. I hope I said that right. I'm so sorry. Sammy, if you were given a choice, you have to testify against Tato or go to prison for life, what would your choice have been?
the government knew point blank I would go to jail for life. I told them when I cooperated, I would not cooperate against my family, my crew, because I ordered hits with them. They knew I loved Tato, and I would never cooperate against them. They knew that. So under me, while I cooperated, those people were not indicted. Anybody in my family, my friend, my crew, Tato, and a woman who helped out, who really helped out more against her own will. She really didn't want to, but we used her father to get to her. She didn't want no money. She was a juror who voted like we wanted. And I wouldn't testify against her. You're putting away a woman who's not a criminal, but I can't take part in that. And so, no, I wouldn't testify against Tato. No way, no how.
Thank you, Sammy. Vinny in the super chat. Here's to you, boss. No question. Just want to show you some love.
Thank you, bro.
Raghav, I hope I said it right that time, back in the super chat. Sammy, Gotti is reported to have once said that the consigliere position was useless. Do you agree?
No, absolutely not. I don't agree. The consigliere position is somebody who really understands Cosa Nostra backwards and forwards. And he goes out and he negotiates with other families. He wins beefs. Some guys are a boss or an underboss, or they're too thuggerish. That they're dumb. They're tough, but they're not that sharp. Some guys are too aggressive. A consigliere goes out. He's like a lawyer. He talks for you and your family, and he'll advise you. The boss. The boss is the boss is the boss, and the underboss is usually somebody who's strong, powerful, respected, feared, and I think that's why John put me in. So when you're thinking about killing John or doing something, you always got to worry about his underboss. He's going to make a move back. He's going to become the boss right away. But the consigliere is not a useless position. And if a made guy in the family has an argument with the boss, so to speak, not an argument, but a disagreement, the consigliere, he goes to the consigliere, where's he going to go? And the consigliere will go to the boss and say, boss, this, and this. I'll give you an example. Jackie Nose was a captain. I don't know if he ever did a piece of work. I don't know. He didn't seem like a ballsy guy to me. And John just abused the fuck out of him. Called him a punk, faggot, this, that, the other thing. And I had gone to John and said, John, in front of everybody, bro, he's a skipper, he's a captain. It don't look good for you either. If you don't like, he said, Sam, he's got no balls, he's a fucking asshole. All right, John. Then take him down as a skipper. Make him a friend of ours, you can't get rid of that, and put him with somebody. But don't abuse him in front of everybody. And so a consigliere is an important position who comes and does things like that. Stops you sometimes from making a bad move as a boss that would hurt you in the long run. So an underboss could do that, but a gunzier does. That's his job. Jackie knows should have went to the gunzier and said, bro, come on. You know, I'm a man. If you don't want me in this position, take me down. But he didn't say or do anything. So, and I know his guy will be mounting about me till now. But, you know, that's what he was. He was a gopher. Jackie knows.
Yeah. Thank you, Sammy. Marshall G in the super chat. Sammy, how long did the planning take for an average hit?
It all depends. And this is why they use people that are close to you. When they use people that are close to you, that with you every day, you trust them, and when they get the hit, it's usually real quick. You walk into it unknown. And that's really quick. If you don't know the guy, it could take some planning, and it always takes planning, to me. Some guys will just go with a gun and boom, boom, like shooting or shoot from a car or do, I don't. To me, it always was a plan. Not only where I'm going to kill him and how I'm going to kill him, is how I'm going to protect the shooters, how am I going to get away, how is everybody going to get away, how is this going to get done? So it was always a plan. It was planning on, I'm going to say you. I have your hit. I'm going to get to know everything about you, where you work, where you live, where you stay, who your girlfriend is, who your wife is, who's your father, mother, sister. I'm going to plan everything. And I'm going to soon enough find out a spot that I think this is the spot for you to go, and we can get away with it. Clean. That's a professional hit. So it could take a short time, or, I mean, if a guy is really close, you call him in, you tell him to meet you over here in the basement, you go in the basement, boom, he gets hit. It could be in one day. So,
Wow.
it's just whatever the animal is.
Awesome. Thank you, Sammy. Bobo Elliott with a very generous envelope for you, Sammy.
Thank
The Cali natives love the bull, and we got you, bro. Tell us if the mafia would have you back. Would you go back? Thanks.
No, I'm done. I love them. I said it a bunch of times. I'll say it again. I love the mafia, and I love people who were in the mafia. I still love them. I knew them, their families. There's a lot of good people in the mafia. There's a lot of evil, but there's a lot of good people. So I don't knock the mafia. I love the mafia. But I'm done with that life. My mother and my father taught me one time in life that don't live in the past. If you live in the past, you're going to stay in the past. Go forward. Forget about the past and go forward with your life. When I left, that's what I'm trying to do, and that's what I did. I'm going forward. I'm trying to do movies and be in Hollywood and do my social media, my Q&As, all of this stuff. That's, to me, is going forward. Now I'm giving young people an example. I don't have to tell them, don't be a gangster, don't be this, don't be that. Be whatever the fuck you want. You want to be Sammy the Bull years ago? I did 22 years in prison. I killed a lot of people. I almost got killed a few times myself. So go ahead, do it. Go ahead, idiot, do it. That's my advice to kids. But, I mean, you want to give them an example? Go forward with your life. And I tell people that all the time. I listen to people in Israel and Muslims fighting back and forth. And I hear things, this is what they did 75 years ago. Fuck what they did 75 years ago. You're going to live in the past. Live in the future. Go forward with your life. And everybody's got the black people with slavery. It's, oh, they did this. Bro, it's 100 years, 100 and something years ago. Go forward. You're living in a different time. Go forward. Whatever was done then was done. It's not in your time frame. It's not part of you. Go forward. I do that with everybody and everything I can do. if I talk to women who were abused in a marriage or this or that, the other thing, I tell them the same thing. You divorced? Yeah. Well, go forward. Go forward. You'll meet another guy. You're a little smarter. Maybe when you met him, you were young. You were abused by him. Go forward with your life now. But if you're going to stay like that all your life in that bad marriage, it's over. So I think you have to go forward and live in the future. Live what you could do tomorrow, what you could become tomorrow, not what you were in the past, and not do those things again.
Well said, Sammy. Gas can lip, I got you, bro. Sammy, what was your favorite boxing combos in a street fight? I like the double jab, fake the right hook to a straight right for a kiss goodnight.
In a street fight, you know, I mean, listen, guess what? I'm a small guy, bro. So I like to hit you in the face with a fucking pipe.
Oh, shit.
It's so much better and easier. It seems like people can't take that. They can take your punch a little bit. No, I mean, I don't know. Lefts and rights, yeah. I'm in a fight. I do anything and everything to win. I bite, I kick, I punch. I don't give a fuck what I did. I'll smash my face into your face.
Oh, my God.
I mean, I fight to win. And I'm not over-aggressive. If I win the fight, I back up. I don't just keep stomping on the guy or bat him like these guys are saying. I bat the guy 100 times. Why would you bat him 100 times? I mean, you won the fight. 2 bats, boop, boop, he's on the floor, stop. Unless you're trying to kill him.
Where did you bite him? Like the ear, like Tyson?
I'll bite any motherfucking thing. I'll bite your whole fucking face apart. I'll bite your fucking nose off if I could.
Oh, shit.
Hold her hair.
Like the penguin.
Yeah, I mean, I have no, you know, if I fight, I fight. You know, I try to win. If I don't win, I don't even get mad. I don't care. Even if I lose, like I said, I'm not a big guy. There's guys who are big, they're muscular, stronger, they're younger, whatever. I want the guy to, at least if he won, to walk away from the fight and say, I don't ever want to fight this fuck no more. He fought his ass off. I won, but he fought his ass off. You see 2 boxers in the ring. They'll kill each other. At the end of the fight, they're hugging. They're hugging each other. The winner has a lot of respect for how this guy, I hit him 100 times and he wouldn't go down. Even when he couldn't breathe no more, he was punching. So you develop a respect for that. So I think that's the way it is in fighting. You know, I fight to win. If I win, I don't look down on the guy who fought his ass off and he just wasn't strong enough or tough enough to beat me. But I respect him. You know, I don't want a guy to slap a guy in the face. Oh, don't hit me. I ain't got no respect for a guy like that. But if a guy, you know, everybody has different physical attributes, things about them, how they hit. I hit hard. I'm small, but I hit very hard. And that's what I try to do. I was pretty strong when I was younger. So being strong, hitting hard, and being able to take a punch, not care about getting hurt, it may be tough, in a way. But
Did anybody ever do that? Like when you were going to hit him and they're like, no, please. Like Nathan Lane in the birdcage. Like, I pierced the toast.
yeah,
Please no.
Really, I didn't get into too many fights like that because I fought one guy who was like,
No. Like Lily swimming. Just like. Okay. Terrence Kirk, Sammy. Hey, Sammy. Just want to let you know that you have changed my life in a way because of how you handle things. You said Tato schooled you, and you have had that effect on me as well.
I do. Tato, until today, I'm always thinking of this guy. Because I come up with a situation, I don't know why or what makes me do it. What would Tato do? What would he say?
Yeah.
Stuff like that. And my mother and my father too. I always think of what he would do. What would my mother do? Or stuff like that. You know, like the time when my father gave back money, we got extra money from the bank, he gave it back. You know, as much as I hated it then, I have total respect for it now. I do the same thing. There's a lot of times I could cheat on things. And I just don't. It makes me feel better when I walk away and I do things. And I think the girls, just they know me in business. Money is not my God.
Right.
I like money. I want money. But it's not my God.
Right.
I don't put that ahead of friendships, relationships, and stuff like that. I'll make a little less, but I'll make more in the long run. That's the way I look at it. So I try to live my life that way. And that comes, I think, more from my mother and father than the mob. But Tato had that same way about him. He wouldn't cheat you, wouldn't rob you, he wouldn't, stuff like that. Some guys would in that life, but there's some guys that just won't. And I'm glad I took that trait. I think that's why I'm succeeding in Hollywood now. These are legitimate people. They trust me. They like me. And it's because of those reasons. Not because I'm a tough guy, not because I killed people. I'm honest with them. I'm sincere with them. People could see that just as well as fearing somebody. They can see that in you, and they actually treat you 10 times better than the fear. Fear is not a bad thing. But when they trust you and they respect you and they like you, I think you get a better results from that. What was that thing? You get more from honey than you get from whatever.
You get
attract more bees with honey than
vinegar.
Yeah. Or flies eat. Bees eat honey and flies eat shit. I don't know.
The neurons are not firing today, it seems. But we're just back here passing notes, trying to give shout outs to the people. J. Marie, there's been a big headline over the weekend, Sammy. J. Marie, boss, did you know Tony Cakes from the Genovese family that was struck by a truck and passed away? Poor guy.
No, somebody told me he was 86 years old. He was a captain in the Genovese family and got hit by a truck, and he was decapitated. I didn't know the guy. When I got a message, Tony Cakes died. The guy was decapitated, and I says, I don't think I know him. The name didn't ring a bell. So I answered back, and I said, I don't think I know him. I said, but his nickname has got to change to Tony No Neck or something like that because he's got a head. So, I mean,
That
and then
is
I seen in the
crazy.
newspaper, the newspaper, the Post said he always watched behind him.
So bad.
Right? What did they say? They said
For a guy that was living, like, always looking over his shoulder, he didn't look at the street. Like, he didn't look in front of him in the
There's a guy
crosswalk.
always looking over his
However,
shoulder and looking back, and he
fucking
didn't
New
look
York
ahead of
Post.
himself, and the truck whacked him in the head and knocked his head off. It's a weird way to go. 86 years old. Listen, it's probably close to his time to go. Anyways, this is probably the fastest way. And it's. I don't want to make a joke out of it. He's got a family out there, grandchildren and children. I don't want to make a joke out of it, but this life happens. There's accidents and all kinds of things.
Yeah.
I mean, if I was the family, I would be disturbed. But he lived 86 years. Maybe he could have lived another couple of years and suffered like a bastard.
Yeah.
But then he's probably happier this way.
Just blink of an eye, it's
Blink
done.
of an eye, he probably never even knew what hit him.
Fuck, dude. That poor truck driver was like distraught like crazy. It's poor face.
Yeah. Well, listen, you're always distraught. I mean, a car accident, anything. When you hurt people and you didn't mean to hurt them, you're going to be distraught about it. I mean, I could hurt somebody by accident. Just, something fell and I wanted the cigar burnt the person. I would feel, horrible. And here I am, I'm able to kill people, but I would feel sorry if I burnt her leg now.
Yeah. J. Marie back in the super chat. Thanks, J. Marie. Boss, once filming starts, wouldn't it be great, since you'll be an executive producer, if you can get permission to visit New York on official business? Have you considered the possibility?
I would come back. I have no fear of New York. I know what they're saying about me. I know a lot of people who are active. A lot of people are happy with me. I have no fear of New York. I don't like the way New York became. It's disgusting what's going on over there. Illegal aliens, homelessness, it's a mess. Mm-hmm. Everybody tells me the same exact thing. It's a complete mess. So I don't think I would be thrilled to go back there. And what I have of New York, I love New York. I love the people from New York. They're good people, really, always were. I don't know how they're tolerating half the shit that goes on now. It would have never happened years ago. Never. The people would never accept it. But they do accept it now. So I'm not that interested in New York. I'm happy what I'm doing here. The people I got around me are good people. My dog Lily goes out. I mean, my neighbors and the people in different offices love my dog, respect me. Mm-hmm. There was cleaning people on the corner in the last store. I let Lily out. She ran right over to them. Black guy and a black woman. Mm-hmm. They're cleaning the husband and wife. They cleaned that office. And they were playing with my dog and this and that and the other thing. And shook my hand, this, that. They know me, I know them. They asked me, you want your place done? I said, no, I'm good, I appreciate it. Then I went back and I told them, you know, if you want soda or a beer or some chips or anything, you know, I think they went in like 5 in the morning.
Wow.
To clean that place.
Mm-hmm.
The guy came back, he said, Sammy, you're really a good person, I appreciate it. You asking, coming back. But they left, you know, they have chips and stuff, and they told us we can have that, water, chips, soda.
Yeah.
So, but I really appreciate it. So I like what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I like the legitimacy of people around me. I like what I'm doing. I'm comfortable here right now.
Amen.
You know, I don't feel like moving. I would love to own a house in the mountains and go back to taking my dog and go away for a weekend and chill, make a fire, do a little hunting, a little fishing, a little something. But maybe down the road, who knows?
Yeah.
You know, I'm looking at a place, I may move from here.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at a place that's a house that I'm going to transform into my house, my office, and my studio. Mm-hmm. And the house is gorgeous. It's right on a lake. I can only imagine going out, especially when it gets a little cooler, with a fire pit, cup of coffee, cigar, talking, feet up, lake, little boats, nothing major, small boats, electric boats on the lake. To me, I would be in heaven.
Yeah.
So I'm real comfortable with what I'm doing now.
Yeah.
And the people that I'm around now.
Yeah.
And I'm being recognized so much now, it's crazy. I mean, right, Anna? No matter where
Oh my
we
gosh,
go,
yeah.
I don't care. My gym, or I go to different restaurants, people coming over, want to take a selfie or this or that or the other thing. A lot of people in Arizona know who I am,
Dude,
where I'm from, stuff like that.
Yeah. They're like screaming across the restaurant.
Yeah, yeah.
This is
So
wild.
I mean, it's very comfortable for me here right now.
Yeah. One guy pulled up in a car. He was like, Sammy. I'm like, hey, whoa, hey, don't do that. Like, he was so nice though. They love you. They love
they're
you.
good over here. I mean, I don't have any problems with it.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Dave Irby in the super chat. Sammy, you mentioned you were an outdoorsman. Do you have any cool hunting or fishing stories? Love you, and you're awesome.
You know, I have so many, but I want to tell this story. I used to go to a place, they called it the Four Seasons. It was French, a French place. The Four Seasons, but they called it Seasons. Up in the mountains in the Adirondacks. I used to go there and go hunting. And I didn't get a deer for a lot of years. God, fucking years, I just couldn't get them. And freezing your ass off out there, sitting, waiting. And one day I went out and I parked my truck. I was way up in the mountain. I got out, put a little pillow down and sit on it. And I had a thermos from the place, chicken soup, and a whole bunch of shit. And I sat there with a rifle on my leg, and I was sitting that the wind blows towards you, they can't smell you. If the wind is blowing against you, your odor goes down, and they can smell you, and you're not going to see me. So I'm sitting in a perfect spot, and I hear a little rustling of the trees. And I look down, and sure enough, there's a 4-point buck. Hunted season, I got the license, I got the rifle. I said, oh my God, I got this. And very slowly, I took the container, put it on the side, and I picked up the rifle, and I had the scope, and I had the crosshairs right on him. He's done. And I looked. The scope was so good, I could see the little whiskers,
Aww.
the eyelashes,
No.
and I don't know what the fuck made me do it.
Yeah.
I said, I'm gonna kill this thing and then put him on the hood of my car and take him home. I got a deer. Who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
Really. And I didn't pull the trigger. And
Wow.
I moved a little bit. I didn't care if he moved. And he didn't move. Just stopped, looked, cocked his head on the side and looked at me. And I said, it's time to go.
Like,
It's time to go. And sure enough, he waited a little while.
Yeah.
He got up and he started prancing away. So I got in my truck, I says, and I went back. And I told the guys, my brother-in-law, a few other guys. And so now, the next day, they said, you're going to go in there. There was, nobody even believed it. Because I went so many years without a deer. I could have got a deer. I didn't do it. So I said, no, I'm going to stay back. I'm not going to go up there. And one of the reasons I wanted to, the people were French. And it was this guy, Dadou, and Ani, who owned the place. And we used to play cards at night, poker. And I became friendly with Ani. So I said, no, I'll stay today. My boss said, why? You can stay in the truck. And no, I want to stay. Why? Because I don't feel like going up there, freezing my ass off. Everything worked out with me and Ani. I think I'm going to fuck Ani.
Oh my God.
He said, you going to go with her? Yeah, I think so. I said, it was pretty cool last night. We were pretty friendly. Of course, Dadou has to get up 4 a.m. to cook breakfast for hunters to go out, so he's sleeping. So I was going to take a shot at it. So,
Oh my God.
anyway, make a little story short, I see Ani. You're not going hunting? No, Ani. We talked last night. I stayed here. We go to the room. She said, no, Dadou, wake up, he'd kill us. Fuck Dadou. Let's go to the room. She won't know, we'd quiet. We'd be really quiet. But she didn't go. So
She's like, Monsieur, no, we can't, no.
that's just the way she talked. That fucking French accent drove me nuts. I was
Dude,
turned
I
on to that
bet.
accent, I tell you the truth.
Sammy made him Chinese real fast. He was like, Sammy, Amina's passing me note after note. Let me get to these. Will would love a birthday shout out and says that it's his sister's Sweet 16. His sister's Sweet 16 took place in the Plaza Suite in 1984.
Oh, great. I
Will
hope she
who?
enjoyed it.
You didn't give it last time.
Okay, and please, Mark Anthony, it's his birthday.
Say happy birthday to Mark.
Happy birthday, Anthony.
Sammy looks at me like, the fuck you want? Like,
Yeah.
oh, dude, one time, Sammy, tell the story. One time we were sitting in the office.
Wow.
And Sammy was talking, and Amina was, I don't know if you're tired or whatnot, but Amina was like sitting behind the computer just staring at Sammy, and her face must have been like, looked like a stank face or something, because Sammy goes, I just saw Sammy like what he would be like in prison. He was like, what the fuck are you looking at? Like, Sammy, and Amina goes, you! And like, oh my, we were laughing so hard. Oh, that was
Yeah,
good
we
shit.
have a lot of fun. Most of the days.
Let me
we
flip.
We do. Most of the days we have a lot of fun.
Yeah. No comments or questions, Sammy. Just some super chats and envelopes for you from Bobo Elliott, Larry Fishkind, and Kyle McKenzie.
Larry Go-Go
Yep.
and Henry Fish Tank.
Yep.
Actually, Bobo just gave a generous one.
Oh. Bobo.
Yep, the last
Bobo came out of pocket. Much love, bro. I'm telling you, your natives got you. Cali, California.
Love you guys.
JB Weld wants to know, was there any mobsters that had college degrees or worked white-collar jobs but were also in the life?
College degrees? No. Didn't Michael Franchisi was going to go be a doctor?
Mr. Francis, where are you? Chat us in.
I think he was.
Did you
gonna be a
graduate?
doctor.
Yeah, he was in
gonna
med
go to
school.
medical school. I don't think he went, but
He didn't go?
He quit or whatever.
There you go,
I
JB.
don't know of anybody with a degree. I actually know a lot of guys who were in the mafia, were in the military during wars, whether it's Vietnam War, World War II. I know a lot of guys were in the military time, which is surprising to me, but I did it too. So
Yeah. Let's see. Anthony, love you, Sammy. In a past episode, you said about Scarpa would take the worst from his guys and make them even more worse. Was Tato kind of the opposite, where he would take the best from you and make it better?
I believe so. I believe so. You know, you can get somebody. I had tough guys and tough kids around me too, and you know, you can teach them a lot. Let me teach you what Tato did. Tato, after a couple of meetings, I'm not going to go through all the meetings, but he said, Sammy, we're gangsters. We could always use violence. Always. But we have to use it as a last resort. Make sure we're not hurting somebody for not a good reason or this, that, and the other thing. Those things stuck with me forever. I mean, I went on scores. I fought a Jewish guy who had a container in the street, one of those things they roll. It was supposed to have a lot of jewelry in it. And the car stopped, opened the back door. It was me. I had a gun, but I grabbed the guy's case, pulled it. He wouldn't stop fighting. He wouldn't let go of the case. And I had the gun and I cracked him in the face. He wouldn't let go. I cracked his hands, bang, bang, so that I could just get the fucking thing away from him. Finally, I hit him 2 more cracks in the face with the gun, and he let go, and we got it in. We went and we were divvying up the money. One of the guys in the car, when I was cracking him, said, shoot him. So when we got back, we emptied the thing out. I said, why the fuck would I shoot him? We came here to rob him. He said, Sammy, he was fighting back. He was fighting. He didn't want to give up his money. I mean, so what? He got hit. I got to shoot him, kill him over this fucking thing. I'm not doing that. So that's one thing about violence and being taught to hold back a little bit. We emptied the fucking thing out. There wasn't diamonds. There was just gold chains, a whole bunch of bullshit, gold chains and everything. I think we made 20-something hundred, 30-something hundred on the score. So when we did it, gold wasn't that much way back then. That's what we got. And then I told the guy, I would have killed this guy over that, bro. You know? Mm-hmm. And I'll tell you one more thing. I mean, the way he fought to keep that money, I will never rob a Jew again. Why? these motherfuckers don't want to give up that money.
No
They just
kidding.
don't want to give it up.
Yeah.
He fought like a bastard.
Wow.
He was willing to give his life for fucking $3,000 worth of chains.
Wow.
So everybody thought that was funny when I was making a joke out of it. So, but that's part of life and part of stealing and part of everything. Like I say, I told this story. I'll say it again. I was doing time with a guy, Spanish guy, and they go into a bodega. They pull out a gun. Give me the money. The guy's caught. He opens up the register, takes all the money, gives him this money, and he shoots the guy and kills him. So I was in prison with him, and I told him, you went in the store, you pulled the gun, you told him, give me the money. He opened the register, gave you all the money. Why'd you shoot him? Sammy, he could be a witness. He could be a witness. You just went in there to shoot him and take the money. You could have wore a fucking mask, you moron. Now you're going to do life for what you did. And you shouldn't even do life. They should give you the death penalty, because you don't have a fucking brain you were born with. You didn't want to go in there and rob him. You wanted to go in there to shoot him and rob him. You think that's a tough guy thing, stupid fuck.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wear a fucking mask. That's like going into a bank. My name is Salvatore Sammy the Bo Gravano. Give me the fucking money. Don't nobody move.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and then you want me to, I mean, what the fuck?
You might as well
That's
tap
about
dance
as
for
stupid
them.
as it gets.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of criminals that are really not, you know, the smart. Maybe they should have had 1 year of college anyway.
Shit. Okay, Ryan Brown wants to know, do you know how many people Willie Boy Johnson clipped?
I don't know a number, no, but I know he killed a lot of people, because when John let him out and whatever, guys from different families were reaching out and saying, he did work with us, kill him. Because John was going to maybe give him a break. And guys were complaining from all over. And that brought up the question, how many guys did he do work with? Different families. A lot of guys. Tato knew him too. Tato told me he was a real tough guy. Did work, a lot of work.
Mm-hmm.
The lawyers, all these guys were shitting in their pants that he flipped. How come he didn't flip on them? So we asked the lawyer. He looked at the paperwork, he looked at the 302s, he looked at everything. He said, inwardly, he hated John Gotti. John Gotti used to abuse him about his race, that he was an Indian, make jokes about him.
Mm-hmm.
Inwardly, he hated him. One of the only guys Willie Boy Johnson ratted on was John, repeatedly. He never ratted on Joe Blow, who he killed somebody with, or this guy, or that guy.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't do it. He didn't rat on them. Never. So the lawyer said just inwardly he hated John Gotti. It was his way to get even by dropping a dime on him from time to time. It was very interesting. But it was true. Nobody had to worry. All the other guys, he just never ratted on, and he wouldn't. So.
Art in the super chat. Hey, Sammy, I was a firefighter in Bensonhurst, and my dad had a building in Coney Island. I remember a guy named Barry. Did you know him?
I was very, very close with Barry, and we were going to do a piece of work against somebody in the Cavalcanti family. Yes, I knew him very well. I liked him. He ran a lot of things in Coney Island. We did some work in Coney Island, and I don't mean murders. Where I said this is legitimate work. We ripped down some homes, built some homes, did some concrete, new walkways, new sidewalks, stuff like that. And he had come to me a long time when I met him, and he introduced himself, and he said, Sammy, I hear a lot of good things about you, but this is my area. And so I said, all right, I didn't know that. So I said, what do? You do some work? You want to do, I could subcontract some work to you if you want. And he said, no, I was just, respect-wise. So I said, good. At the end of the job, I don't remember exactly how much it was, 5,000, 10,000, whatever it was. I called him in, and I said, we made some good money here. You helped, keeping people not fucking with the jobs. Put this in your pocket. And I became like this with him. I became very close with him. He was actually with the Genovese family. When we were going to do this murder, he knew the guy. He could get the guy easily. But he was with another family. I didn't want to use him. So I asked Benny Eggs and Chin. Well, Benny Eggs was the underboss. He went to Chin. If we can use him to whack somebody in the Cavalcanti family. He was close with him. He would be a big help to us. Chin said no. He said the Cavalcanti made the guy, I can't think of his name. He was a piece of shit. They should have never made him. Fuck them. I don't want to have nothing to do to help them. But tell Sammy if he ever needs the kid Barry, he's with us. You could come back. It's not anything about Barry. He's a good man. But I don't want to help them, the Cavalcanti family, because the guy wasn't coming in when he was called. I can't think of his fucking name. But he was a heavyweight. I just blew my microphone.
Sterling 911.
Oh, yeah.
Sterling, call your girls.
Pull your dress.
Everybody go 911. Wow, God, I just every time, Sammy, like these. I never even heard of Barry, and you pull out a 10-minute story on the guy. Thank you, Sterling.
Yeah. Could you hear me still?
How's it sound?
Let me
Am I
check.
am I still hooked good?
Oh, he's good.
All right. So, yeah, Barry was a good guy. And I think for a while he came into my office when I was doing the drywall business. And I think he worked a job or two with us. So he was a good guy.
Wow.
I liked him a lot.
Pizza Dave wants to know who was the most feared guy in the Bath Beach, Bensonhurst, Gravesend neighborhood.
Me.
Hey yo! We need our little sound effects, but I'm
Oh yeah, where are they?
I know.
Horns.
Let's see.
No, it wasn't me.
There you go.
There was a lot of guys from that area, there were so many tough guys. It would probably be 5 pages. Frankie the Chico, myself, Gas Pipe was from there. There was bosses from that area. Christy, there was tons of guys who were tough. No doubt about it. Like I said earlier, the mafia is generally made up of tough guys. Guys who've done work, guys who can kill. So that's where I was talking about the rules. But they're controlled.
Awesome. Thank you, Sammy. JB Weld, did you ever think that Louis Melito playing the fence before Paul went away was just him being shrewd? I appreciate any insight.
I don't know if you call betraying your friend shrewd. I don't look at it that way. Yeah, it was shrewd. Shrewd enough to get him killed. Frankie the Chico would have killed him the minute he got out. He was lucky that Frankie had died. But being shrewd, you're not shrewd with your friend. If somebody came in this office, now I don't want to sound like a clown here, but with a gun, I would take a bullet before I allowed Anna, Amina, or Sterling or my dog to get hurt. So is that shrewd or stupid? I don't know what it is. If it's shrewd, that I would let them take the bullet, not me, I don't want to be shrewd. I want to love people. I want to respect people. I want to care about people a little bit more than I care about myself. Not much more. I want to be in that group. I want to care about myself. We're about to do a meeting when we go to California. Now this question, I don't know why it came to my head. And I'm going into a meeting that I'm not crazy about. I'm checking on the meeting, making sure. I didn't do that before. I didn't do it. I agreed to do it. There was money involved. And I thought about it. One of the guys who's going to meet me there brought it up. And I said, this will make a great ending to the movie if I walk into something. And we both laughed. And I walked away and I thought, Anna's coming with me and she's going to walk into that meeting with me. If that's a meeting where I'm going to go, you think they're going to let her walk out? I don't think so. So now, this morning, I had her checking on, how did we get to this meeting? Who's who? Who's this? Who's that? I met a guy when I did a Vlad interview, a black guy. I forget his name. What was his name?
Oh gosh, I forgot. He was a security.
Big guy,
Huge.
6'4", 6'5". I took a picture of him. I looked like a midget completely. I mean, and we had a great conversation between me and him. Vlad, I had Zaza with me. Zaza was sitting in a chair behind me, and he told her, sit on this chair on the side. I'll sit in this chair behind him, meaning me. So I see this big black guy, 6'4", 6'5", whatever he is, and he wants to sit directly behind me. First thing I did was there was an ashtray. I put my hand on the ashtray, and I figured I'll whack him right in the face with this ashtray. And then I turned around, still with the ashtray in my hand. I said, listen, no, don't tell her where to sit. You sit there. I want her to sit behind me. I want a split second. This guy grabbed me from behind, I'm finished. Even if he don't have a gun. I could never fight this guy off. And then we went outside after the interview was over. He was a real guy, great guy. And he says, I love the way you told me to go sit on the side. He said, you are a ballsy guy. He says, I like that. I says, we had a good conversation. He said, I think you've got the wrong idea why I wanted to sit there. And I said, maybe, maybe not. Why did you want to sit there? He said, if you look at the chair she was sitting on, Sammy, when you go back in, look at the size of the chair. It's a big-ass chair. The chair you made me sit on, small. My ass overlaps on both sides. I'm a big man.
Yeah.
I laughed my ass off, and that's what was it. I even try to reach him now to come with me to this meeting. So he's one of, like, a security guard. And he's licensed security guard out there. So I'm still going to try and reach him. I have another friend of mine, Billy, not a big guy, and he's coming to that meeting. Because it made me think, for a few dollars, I could walk into a bad meeting. And I don't think so. But it just, I could be shrewd or not give a fuck about Anna. It's one thing I don't give a fuck about myself. It's another thing I don't give a fuck about her. Why would she deserve that? I went to a meeting with you, Amino, right? And I changed locations. I watched. I was careful. I made sure it was right. Because it's another meeting I wasn't exactly happy with. And I took you there, And I told you we changed locations at the last minute. And you said, why? Because I didn't want to walk into something, especially with you. I said, let's stay outside. I'll tell you when to come in. Because I cared about you. So I don't know what being shrewd is, or careful, or caring about people and things. What Louis did was an out and out mistake. You know,
Yeah.
if you really want to be shrewd, stay with the people you love, stay with your people, protect them, protect yourself. But to go on the other side, I don't know if that's considered shrewd. I guess Frankie DeCicco didn't feel that way. John Gotti didn't feel that way. DB didn't feel that way. And to be honest with you, I didn't feel that way.
Thank you, Sammy. Just Boz wants to know, why was Mickey DeBat clipped? Mikey DeBat.
Michael DeBat was clipped because, again, rules. I had a very strong thing about no drugs. No dealing drugs, but especially no taking drugs. Nicky Cowboy, when he came in with crack cocaine. Broke a rule with me, serious rule. Promised me he would never do that. And he hooked Michael DeBat by giving him crack. The both of them became crack addicts. I'm a boss of a crew. I could let that go. When a guy becomes a crack addict or a heavy drug addict, he'll give up his mother for a bag of dope. These guys are doing work with me. Now, supposing he got pinched, and they say, we can let you out, we can give you this little bag, and he rats. Now I'm sitting in this room with the rest of my crew, me and the rest of my crew that he ratted on. What do I tell them? Sammy, you knew he was a crackhead? Yeah. And you didn't do anything. You didn't protect us. That's why we're sitting in this fucking room, Sal. So I'm forced into, what do? Wait until everybody's sitting in a cell together? And that's what that rule is about, that you can't take drugs. Selling it is one thing. I wouldn't want that either. But taking it, Michael DeBat's wife called me up a day or two before he got killed and told me, Sammy, now she meant no harm. Don't get this twisted. She meant no harm. She said, Sammy, he's got such a habit, it's fucking crazy. I tried to scare him to tell him, I'm going to tell Sammy what you're doing. He went in the closet, got a rifle, came out, went by the blinds. If he comes in here, I'll kill him. She said, please talk to him. I think he's losing his mind. That was another nail in his coffin. Now, I hate saying that because she didn't mean that at all. She didn't know that would happen. She thought I would get mad and I'd just yell at him or abuse him and he would stop. She didn't mean to have any harm done. But unbeknownst to her, like I said, that was another nail in his coffin. That's why he went. When you're in charge, there's certain things you have to do. And there's no two ways about it. Louis Molino, I saved him twice. On the third time, John told me, Sammy, take a walk, no more. It's done. And you're not going to be on it. I'm giving it to I don't even want to say who, so-and-so. And I asked to be there because he was dying, not for disrespectful reasons, not a scummy reason. Let's not spit on his body when he's down. Let's not kick him when he's dead. I wanted him to die quickly like a fucking man, like a jerk I was to even do that. Because if I didn't do that, I wouldn't even be on the fucking, he wouldn't even be on my list. But I wanted to be there. Because I loved him. And I knew he was dying for stupid fucking reasons, his own. It's justified, but it was stupid. And that's why I was there. And and I just had to be there. I just felt I had to be there. It was a mistake. I wish John would have told me, no, mind your fucking business. I wouldn't even be, it wouldn't be on my list. But it was a dumb move on my part.
Thank you, Sammy. John Van Den Heuvel from Australia. He's a regular viewer, Sam. Can I please have a birthday shout out? Tomorrow is my birthday.
Happy birthday, pal.
Awesome.
Enjoy the day.
Sterling, we have any questions from TikTok? Anything? What's going on over there?
We did have one question.
One question. What the fuck is going on, you TikTokers?
Questions.
All right, give me the
There
one.
was a question about the Iceman.
Ooh, the Iceman.
Do you think Sammy the Iceman was legit?
No. The Iceman was a blowjob, a liar, a piece of shit. He killed 1 or 2 or 3 people. He borrowed $1,500 or $1,700. I forgot what it's on my documents and papers. He borrowed that and then killed the guy so he didn't have to pay him back. And he put him in an ice box in his place because he didn't even know how to get rid of the body or what to do. And when he did, 3-4 days later, and put the body out, when the cops found the body, it was still partly frozen, and they could tell it was frozen for quite a while. I guess parts of you disintegrate or whatever. And that's why they called him the Iceman. But he was a liar, a phony, a piece of shit. Then he went out and said he was a serial killer and he killed 200 people. He didn't kill nobody. When we were going to question him, he was a rat on my case. He was testifying against me. We had a big fucking chart, a white chart. We were going to have the first page, the person he killed and why, to show the jury. My lawyer was going to do that. Pick it up, go to the second page. Now you killed Joe Blow, and these are the reasons, you say. Then the third page, another one. And then go to the fourth page, and it was dead empty. Well, you said you killed 200 people, right? Yeah. What was number 4? There was no number 4. There was no number 5. There was number 10. He was a piece of shit. Phony, liar. In my case, it's going to be in my movie and everything. We exposed everything on him. And it's not that I exposed it. I was pinched and going to go to trial on this case for killing a cop, a 21-year-old case. He was the star witness. And the FBI and prosecutors and a federal judge knew that I didn't do it. They got in touch with Jersey and said, Sammy's indicted on what this guy says. It's not true. Jersey wouldn't back up. We fought the case. We found out every fucking thing this other guy ever did. Those the FBI guys, the prosecutor, and the federal judge, the first time in history, would testify for me at a trial. He did this thing, and my lawyer came to me and said, Sammy, the Iceman wants to see me with no cops, no prosecutors, just me. What do you think I should do? With no cops or prosecutors? Yeah, go see him. I told the story before, I'll tell it again. My lawyer went in there A lieutenant and another cop opened the door, put him in. The Iceman was in there, took his cuffs off. But they're watching from the outside. He sits down, he tells my lawyer, do you have a piece of paper? The lawyer takes out a thing and gives him a pad. He writes on the bottom of the pad, tells Sammy 200,000 and the case goes away. He rips can you talk to Sammy like that? The lawyer says, yes, I could. He ripped it off, rolled it up, looked at the cops, and put it in his mouth and ate it in front of them. They brought him out. They brought my lawyer out. My lawyer was a black guy named Tony Rico. He was an amateur photographer. The Iceman was 6'3", 4, 250, 290, 300 pounds. Big fucking guy. He took the pad and went outside and looked at it in the sun. He came back in. He got the lieutenant, the guard, and a lawyer friend who came down and told them, did you see what happened? Yeah. Were you able to read it? Yeah. Don't say nothing. He gave them all a piece of paper, said, write down what you saw. I don't want to have a conference or a meeting about it. They all wrote down the same thing. Tell Sammy 200,000 and the case goes away. He got all of their notes and the pad and went straight to the FBI. An FBI guy came down, a lab guy, tested it out, put a light, said, he read it. He gave him a piece of paper and he said, write down what you see. He wrote down the same thing. He said, now I want it enhanced. He gave him the pen. They enhanced it. Perfect, you could see it clear as a bell. He turned around from the FBI, went straight to the court, got the judge, and said, here's what happened. Everything I'm telling you, he told the judge. The judge called the prosecutor in and said, this is your star witness. Case over? They said, no, we're going to go. We got another guy. We got this. We got that. They went on with the case. The Iceman died in prison while my case was going, just before trial. And I found out everything what happened in this case. Who did what, who killed the cop, why they killed the cop. I found out everything. But the case now was over. And that'll come out in my story and my movie and everything else. I won the case was dropped. And that'll come out in my movie as well.
So mind-blowing. Your life is so fantastical. It's so hard to believe, but it's like
It is.
doing the research on these things
crazy.
and pulling
And
dots.
if they heard the whole story
Oh.
with the other cop and why he got killed and everything else, and who made the Iceman say this whole thing to set me up. So,
Incredible.
yeah.
You know,
Did you ever know the Sarnos from Chicago?
Who?
The Sarnos, S-A-R-N-O-S.
it's the Sarnos from Chicago.
I don't think so. I don't know.
That's a Sarno.
Yeah, that's like a no.
I'd really like to tease your, yeah, there we go. Thank you, Amina. I'd really love to tease the project that you just did with your second interview with Michael Sapor that's going to come out in July. Incredible stuff.
Incredible. Is that the one
Yeah.
where I'm commenting on the movie there with the
Yeah.
what is this stuff?
You did the with the Mafia game, and then you did
The
the one
game.
with the Gotti, Mafia 2 game, and then with the Gotti documentary that you've never seen before.
Yeah, there's a couple of things that are going to come out that are going to be great. So
Yeah.
yeah, I did a good interview with somebody,
Yeah.
and it was pretty good. This is the same guy who did
Plaza Suite.
Plaza Suite hit for the, what are they?
The
Czechoslovakians.
Yep.
Yeah.
Incredible stuff. I just remember seeing you at the table during production, and it's gonna be hard hitting. It's gonna be a hard hitting, amazing project, interview, release.
Yeah.
It's
I
incredible.
enjoyed the working with him, with them. They're good people.
Yeah.
They do a good job.
Yeah.
Besides.
Yeah. Well, we are over 2 hours, Sammy. It just flew by.
That's what happens when you're having fun.
Amen. But ah, she's tardy.
Than never.
Better late than pregnant.
What happened?
Hey yo, she missed her cue for the.
I'm responding to everybody.
I know
in
your
chat.
chat's flying. It's hard to keep up.
Yeah. So that's great. Hey guys, I have to go now. I think my son left. Did he leave?
No, he's here.
He's out there. All right, guys. My normal sign off. Adios, motherfuckers.
Awesome. Calculate these numbers real quick.
Wow. Oh no. Smoking. Can't smoke on TikTok.
They're worried about the
You just talked about making creme fraiche with the French girl.